Okay, for our case study, we've got A, anthropometry, B, biochemistry, C, clinical, D, diet, and E is exercise. So for both the diet and exercise intervention, you will need to gather exercise information. So you're going to need baseline physical activity. So you could get a description. Do they feel that their job or lifestyle is sedentary, moderately active, or very active? Or you could ask them to look at the steps that they gather either on their Fitbit or their phone on a daily basis. And that can be a really useful identifier, indicator of how active your client is out with training. Then you're going to need to gather a training diary. So normally you'd be looking at the type of training they're doing, the time they're doing it at. So is it evening or morning training, for example? You might be looking at certainly the duration of the training sessions, and if they could give a description or an RPE of the training sessions, that can be extremely valuable as well to identify. That will help you with your estimated energy requirements. Then you're going to do some baseline testing, or you're going to identify if the strength and conditioning coach or coaches are doing any baseline testing. So you don't necessarily have to double up. If somebody else is doing that testing, you can just use their results. So some baseline testing that you might use might be strength testing, speed, endurance. So it could be a yo-yo test. It could be your 10, 20, 40-meter sprints. You could be looking at, now I'm going to show my ignorance. I'm sure that the students and staff have told me that 3-rep max is safer than 1-rep max. And so that might be the most appropriate, a more appropriate method for assessing strength. You might look at fundamental movement skills and flexibility, power, and then you're going to, for your athlete, compare that information to the norms. So in the data, does it suggest that club GA players cover X amount of ground, or what are the ACSM or UKSCA or whoever guidelines for kind of excellent yo-yo versus average versus poor? So compare your baseline testing data to the norms where possible.